All right, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, we're back at it. Today we're going to be learning our F major scale, one octave, and our D minor scale. Okay, so let's just get started. All right, so this is a bass trombone lesson. We talked a little bit about equipment last time. Um, yeah, so definitely watch the video from last time. It's going to help a lot, probably explain some of this. So we're going to start with our F major scale one octave. Since this is the bass trombone video, a la bass trombone, we're going to be starting on the low F. Okay, so low F is on a straight tenor. It's going to be in sixth position, but we're going to have this, which is going to put it in first position. Okay, let's play that low F. Ready? There we go. Sounds great. Great low F. Hopefully you found it. Now, we're actually going to do something we talked about last time. We're going to start on a B flat, and we're going to gliss down to that low F in sixth. Okay, so like this. Watch me. There we go. So did you hear how the sound stayed nice? Let's try it together. Ready? There we go. We want to make sure everything is still ringing, still resonating, okay? So now let's put that F in first, and let's try it. Ready? With me? There we go. We don't have to move our lips too much. It's just a low F, okay? When we get down the octave, then we might have to move our lips a little bit more. But right now, we don't have to move too much, just a low F. Okay, so next note is going to be G. F, G. Ready? G is in fourth position, right? Before we go on, let's think about our key signature. So for the key of F, it's going to have how many flats? One flat, absolutely. And what is that flat? B flat, absolutely. So we had scale B flat last week, right? And that had two flats, B flat and E flat. Now we have our F scale, and this only has one flat, B flat, okay? And so we're going to be going around something called the circle of fifths, okay? And basically, we start on a note, and then we go and we do the scale that's a fifth above it, okay? So how do we figure that out? A fifth is just the fifth note of that scale. So a perfect fifth above B flat is F. Let's count our notes. B flat, 1, C2, D3, E flat, 4, F5. So B flat up to F is a perfect fifth because it's just the fifth note, okay? So, and as we go around our scale like that, we're going to be subtracting flats, okay, and adding sharps. So we'll do that as we get, farther down the road. But that's how we figure out what scales we're going to be doing, okay? So back to the actual scale. Let's start on that low F, F, G. What note comes after G? A natural. Let's try it. Ready? There we go. What comes after that A natural? B flat. Absolutely. Let's try it. There we go. Let's try the next note, which is what? C. Yes. C is in sixth position, or hallelujah. Yes, this trigger. That's what we're going to be using. So just a first position C with the trigger. So start on that low F. Ready? What note comes after C? Up the scale. D. Yes. What position? Fourth. Yes. Let's try it. Start on low F. There we go. And then what note comes next? E. What type of E? This is so weird seeing my hand in that camera. So what type of E? E natural. Yes. Why is it E natural? Because as we go around the circle of fifths, this way, we're going to be subtracting flats, right? So it's just B flat. So now we have E natural. Let's go all the way from E natural all the way up to F, okay? So it'll be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E natural, F, Ready? Let's try it together. Ready? There we go. Let's try it going down. Ready? F. We're going to do something different. We're just going to add a note each time. Ready? So try it with me. We'll start with F. Next. 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 There we go. So that's our F major scale. That is really important, just like we talked about last week. Music's built off of scales, right? So if you wanted to play a song with that scale already, Joy to the World, right? Just go down the scale. Every note has a different, or every word has a different note. Let's just try to play it. Start with an F. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's just a scale, right? So music's built off scales. Scales are important. And that time, I know I played a C in 6th. You can play C in 6th. I actually usually will play my C's and F's in flat 2, which I talked about in the last video. But here I decided just to go with the single trigger setup, just because it's easier for some people. Now, we're going to go on to our D minor scale. So F major and D minor have the same key signature. Okay, makes sense. It's the same as B flat and G minor, like we talked about last week. So when we're doing this, we want to think about that same key signature, which has how many flats? 1. And what is it? B flat, yes. So if you remember from last week, what number scale degree do we go up to figure out what is the natural minor, the relative minor of a scale? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't. 6, scale degree 6. So same thing how we counted up to 5 for our perfect fifths. We're just going to go up to 6, okay? So we have F, G, A, B flat, C, D. So this is our 6th scale degree, right? So when we start there, we're going to be starting in the relative minor, okay? So relative minor just means the same key signature, okay? So let us start on a low D, okay? So if you have a double trigger horn, you can play that low D in first with both triggers. Yeah, let's do that. First with both triggers. If you only have a single trigger horn, do that thing we talked about last week where you play the note, then play the note with the trigger and tune it, right, in the same octave, and then drop the octave so you have it in that fifth-ish position, okay? But for now, we're going to start in 1, okay? So let's start D minor, and we're just going to go up our F scale, but starting on D, and ending on D, and then going back down to D. All right? Let's try it. Ready? In half notes. Half note, rest, and think about the next note coming up. Ready? Start on low D. Ready? What's the next note? E. What's the next note? F. What's the next note? G. What's the next note? A. Next note? B flat. C. D. And then we end on D, right? So, some of these things we talked about last week with, making sure we're not moving our embouchure too much, making sure everything is nice and resonant. Yeah, let's just make sure we're doing those same things and think about those letter names of the notes as we go up. Okay, so let's try it together one more time. And we're going to do the same thing, except it's just going to be you saying the letter names before we play them instead of with me, okay? So make sure you're saying those letter names. That's going to be really important for general brain things, okay? So let's try that. Ready? Start at low D. Ready? What's the next note? B flat, right? Now what? C. And then up to D, right? Good job. All right, now we're going to go down. Let's do that same thing. We're going to say the notes together before we play them, okay? So start at D. Ready? C. B flat. A. G. F. E. D. There we go. So that's up and down. Let's try it a little bit faster now. Ready? We'll just go ba, da, da. We'll just go half notes. Ready? 1, 2, ready? Yes. So that's up and down, and that was in half notes. Now let's do that one more time in half notes. And I really want you to think about tuning with me, making sure that we're playing the same notes, and still thinking about those note names in your mind. Okay, that's going to help so much. I promise you. Please think about those note names in your mind as you're playing. Okay, so let's try it again. Let's play together. Ready? Ready? There we go. So, and now let's recap a little bit from last week. If you're having trouble getting to that low D, start on a low F in first position, and we're going to glist down to that low D. And that's going to be 5-ish. So, ready? Let's try it together. All right. So, do that a few times. Pause the video. It's definitely going to help. Okay. So, those are the two scales we wanted to work on. Right now, we're going to take a small side tangent, and we're going to talk about breathing a tiny bit, and then we'll probably go back to it and do some exercises. All right. So, breathing is very important. I'm sure you've been told, right? So, when we're doing this and when we're playing, we need air to play, right? But something that we don't think about all the time is that taking in too much air or forcing in a lot of air can cause a lot of tension, right? So when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we aren't forcing anything. We're not making our body do anything unnatural. We're basically just going to be as relaxed as we can, and we're going to breathe, okay? That's it. You know, we breathe all the time. So it doesn't need to be a complete exact science, but we do want to maximize our breath. Okay, so so the way I think about it is a great way that I was taught, a bunch of years ago at this point. But imagine your air is filling up your lungs like a glass of water, like you would fill up a glass of water. So when you fill up a glass of water, it starts at the bottom, right? You don't fill it up from like you pour it in and it just fills top down. That would be insane. But we're going to start at the bottom, okay? So imagine the bottom of your lungs is the bottom of the glass of water, okay? So let's just take a breath together. Imagine the air coming in like you're filling your lungs up with a glass of water. Ready? Try it with me. Ready? Breathe in. There we go. Okay, so hopefully that felt a tiny bit different. Let me take off my jacket so you can see my shoulders and everything a little bit better. All right. So when we take the breath in, we really want to make sure we're filling up all the way to the bottom of our lungs. Okay, so try it again. Ready? Imagine filling up from the bottom. Ready? Take a deep breath. There we go. Now, hopefully you notice something didn't move. These. Yes, my shoulders. Okay, so when we're doing this, we don't want to do this. Because right here, I feel right here, my whole chest, this is all tense, and I have all of this down here still open. Okay, so we just want to roll out our neck a little bit. Ooh, stretch your back a tiny bit. And we're going to take that deep breath in one more time. Don't force your shoulders to stay down, but they want to stay down naturally because we don't need to involve them in this process at all. Okay, so let's try to take another deep breath in, starting from the bottom of our lungs filling up. Ready? In. There we go. So you might have seen a tiny bit of movement here. That really isn't my shoulders, that's my sternum. Okay, so your sternum is this bone right here. It's pretty hard. And when we breathe in, we want to lift up our sternum. Okay, so this is something that vocalists and singers will talk about a lot. They say sing with your sternum lifted, right? That's going to give you really good posture. So we want to think about, as we breathe in, we're going to see our sternum lift a tiny bit and our chest cavity expand. But our shoulders, these bumps here, are not going to be bouncing or jumping around, okay? So watch me one more time. Let's try it together. Ready? There we go. So these didn't move. My sternum did move, okay? So let's just take a couple breaths. We'll do it on a count. We'll do 4 beats in, 4 beats out, okay? And we're just going to focus on not getting any tension in our bodies, okay? So 4 beats in of nice relaxed air, 4 beats out of nice relaxed air. Ready? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. In. There. Okay, so a big thing that a lot of people teach is make the sound low in your mouth like this versus this. Hear the difference there? Hopefully you can over the mic. I generally, I think, don't go by the sound there because there's some differing opinions on that. Generally just try to relax all of this and just open everything up. Okay, so when I breathe, I'm not trying to get a super low air in sound or super high. I just try to think of a nice relaxed feel. Okay, so when I breathe in, it is, it's a little bit lower, but I'm not trying to force it down lower. Because when I do that, then I have more tension, right? So I'm just thinking about nice relaxed air sound and air movement. Okay, so we just want to open everything up. So let's try it again. 4 in, 4 out. Ready? Go. There we go. So not only is that just generally very relaxing, it actually, breathing has a lot to do with meditation too. So if you're interested in meditating, that could help breathing and vice versa, you know. That's weird when I do that. Sorry, looks weird on the camera. I'm getting distracted. So that breathing is, it's definitely something to do. I sit down or I stand up and I do it a couple times just before I play to make sure I'm thinking about that super relaxed nature that I'm trying to aim towards. Okay, so whenever you're playing, you really need to focus on that and think about just not having any tension. Okay, and then as we speed it up, because a lot of times we're only going to have a tiny bit of time to take that breath, we're going to want to still keep that tensionless feeling, because that's going to lead to openness. Okay, tension closes, relaxation opens, right? So when we're breathing in fast, we're going to want to just do the same things. It's just going to be faster. Okay, so we're going to do a different count. We're going to do breathe in for 1 and out for 4. Okay, so it'll be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm completely filling up each time, and then I'm just breathing out, relaxed. Okay, hopefully you saw that I wasn't right. There's a lot of tension there. Just right. So we want to drop our jaw. We're going to open our mouths. Let's do that. So you're going to do this by yourself because I think that'll translate if I count out loud. And try it with me or without me. Ready? Breathe in for 1, out for 4. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. In, out, 2, 3, 4. In, out, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. In, out, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there we go. So as it gets towards the end, I know, at least for me, I can get a little bit lazy and not be filling up my lungs all the way, or I can not be focusing on it and becoming a little bit tense during this, and both no good. Okay, so when you're doing this, you don't have to do it that many times, but just really focus on that relaxation and that completely open feel no matter what you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to pick up our horns again and we're going to be doing some sort of breath exercises with this F major and D minor scale. Okay, so as I clean off my mouthpiece, I will explain what we're doing. We're going to be doing F, G, so we're going to start on the low F, and we're going to play it for 3 beats, and then we're going to inhale for 1 beat. Okay, so it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try that together. Ready? 1, 2, ready. Now pause. If you're doing this right, you should have way too much air. I have so much extra air, but I feel like I'm about to pop like a balloon. Okay, so if you're not feeling like you have a ton of extra air, try that exercise a couple more times. When you get to the C, you should just feel like completely full of air. Okay, so now we're going to do a little different exercise. We're going to play the F for 4, or we're going to play the note for 4 beats, and then we're going to breathe out all of our air for 1 beat, and then breathe in a complete new set of fresh air for 1 beat. Okay, so it'll be like this. F, out, in, G, out, in. Okay, so let me show you. Watch me do it. Ready? 1, 2, ready. Right, you get the feeling? Okay, so let's do it together. Ready? Let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. feel lightheaded, sit back in your chair, make sure your horn is safe. Okay, just relax a little bit. Why are some of you feeling lightheaded? Well, it's because we're using a lot of air. Okay, so our body, when we breathe out, we're expelling our carbon dioxide, and when we breathe in, we're inhaling our oxygen. And that mix can be really important to how our brain works, right? So as we do this, we're actually exhaling a lot of extra carbon dioxide, and so we're getting rid of a lot of stuff, and that's changing the balance of our blood, which is affecting our brain, which is making us lightheaded. Okay, I know that's weird, but yes, that's what's actually happening in your body. That's why you're lightheaded. So how do we combat that? We just practice this. Bass trombone players, if you look up like bass trombone players doing excerpts for like orchestral auditions, I know how to speak, I swear. They use a lot of air, and they play very loud. So when you're doing this, it's important to be able to do this. And the way we practice it is just what we were just doing. And your brain and your blood and your body will just get used to not freaking out all the time. Okay, so the last time that I got lightheaded when I've been playing bass trombone for like 10 years or something at this point. When the last time I got lightheaded was I had a piece called Apparition, something in French, by Olivier Messiaen, who is a French composer. And it was arranged by David Miller, who's an incredible trombone player, and arranger and writer. But he wrote a bass trombone part that goes down to a pedal C, and it's at 4 Fs, so like 4 TC, EC, EC, Mo. Yeah. And it's for like 20 seconds. You just wail on these pedal Cs. I'm talking this C. The rumbly C, right? And that really got me lightheaded the first few times. So I had to do more exercises like this, and I needed to practice that because getting really lightheaded in a performance, or just getting lightheaded in general isn't the most fun thing. So we just want to make sure that we're relaxed and our body gets used to what it needs to do to play this behemoth of a fun instrument. Okay, so long-winded, but yes, that's a good exercise. Okay, so now we're going to do our D minor scale with a similar exercise, except we're going to be doing in thirds. Okay, so if you haven't played a scale in thirds, it can be kind of tricky at first, especially figuring out how to think about it. But let me demonstrate it to you. Okay, so that sounds like a bunch of random notes, but we go 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 1, 7, 2, 1. That's the order of the notes. Yes, can be a little bit weird, but that's what we're going to do, okay? So let's try it. Just go for it. Ready? Let's try it with that air, okay? So it'll be D, out, in, F, out, in, G, out, in, or, oh no, E comes, oh my god, I'm a mess. We're not doing that. Let's just play our D minor scale, just up and down, with the breath thing. Forget the thirds. I am incapable today. Let's try it. Starting on D. 1, 2, ready. relax. All right, so you might be a little lightheaded again. It's fine. Just practice this. It's going to help a lot. All right. So now, real quick, we're going to talk about some of the ways that I warm down. Before I warm down, I actually do some high long tones. A good friend of mine, Nate Cooper, who is playing professionally, incredible trombone player, he taught me this. And it's basically you just play a high note for as long as you can. So I'm not going to do it because I live in an apartment, and I would love not to be kicked out. But you're going to play some high note for you, but that's not completely unattainable. Okay, so I remember when I first started this, I started just on a high F, just above the staff. And I would hold out an F for like 8 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. F, and I would hold it out, and I would crescendo through that, okay? And then I would take a breath for 2 beats, and then I would do the same thing. And I do that as many times as I needed to for my lips to get a little bit tired. So, and then I would stop, and then I would do this warm down that I'm going to show you. But that's a great way to really work your chops, and when you're doing that, make sure you're not clenching your jaw. That could be a really big problem, and it can hurt. And just make sure you're relying on your air, mostly, and just a little bit of your lips to direct that. Okay, so that's just a quick tip. This next warm down is one that I thought of in high school to really help my pedals. You start on a pedal B flat, and then you crescendo through that pedal B flat down a half step, okay? And then you start on that next note. So we would crescendo from B flat, A flat. Okay, so again, I'm not going to demonstrate it in here, but that's a really great way just to work down those pedals, right? And eventually I got it down, low enough where I can keep that nice resonance and it not be uncomfortable. So I did that every day for a bunch of years, and now I can play pretty low, okay? And so it's something definitely to think about and consider doing as a warm down. It doesn't take long. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that my brain broke a little bit in there, but hopefully you learned something, and I'm excited to be back next week and see what we're going to be talking about then, all right? Stay safe, stay healthy. I have to think of something to sign off these videos with. Next week I'll have something. Right now I'm just going to say, be cool with finger guns. Yeah, no, that was so lame. I'll figure something out for next week.